Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, guys, the Toronto Maple Leafs have unveiled their Reverse Retro 2.0 jerseys. If we're comparing these two Reverse Retro jerseys from the Maple Leafs, the 2.0s that just came out today, to the 1.0 that they were during the 2021 season that's above me, I like the newer ones a lot more. The Reverse Retro 1.0, or the jersey that's above me right now, is a bit of a mix match between two different jerseys that the Maple Leafs wore throughout their history. It has the 1967 logo on the body of a jersey that they wore throughout the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, except those jerseys were blue and white. The Reverse Retro from the 2021 season was blue and gray, and that confused a lot of people, and if they would have just made the simple change of making the gray part of the jersey white, I think it would be looked back on a lot more fondly. And the quality of those jerseys were just absolutely horrible. This was before Adidas rebranded under their prime green jerseys, or whatever they're calling them now. But this was when they were still using vinyl letters and numbers on their jerseys. This is supposed to be two layers of twill that are sewn together, stacked, and then sewn to the jersey. Instead, this is one layer of vinyl with two colors printed onto it. It's flimsy, it's cheap, and they still charged you a premium for it. Not to mention that these jerseys were made so thin that if you held it up and looked at it, not even under any light, you could see right through the jersey. They would rip and snag and tear on almost everything and anything. I collect a lot of hockey jerseys. I own jerseys from all different eras made by basically every single company that was contracted by the NHL. The Adidas ones have to be hands down the worst produced NHL jerseys in the last 30 years. But back to the Maple Leafs Reverse Retro 2.0 jerseys. I tweeted this out on August the 9th. I, along with the GTA C13 jerseys on Twitter, have heard from a few sources that the Leafs will base the Reverse Retro 2.0 design of these previously worn alternates. And you know what? My bad. I had this information. I tweeted it out. I could have made a video here on YouTube, but if you followed me on Twitter, you would have known what these jerseys have looked like for months. Where did I get this information? I am a journalist, and I do collect a lot of hockey jerseys, and when you're in that space, people talk. It's not that large of a community. You hear things. Who would have thought, right? The guy that buys, sells, and collects Toronto Maple Leaf jerseys had an inside scoop on what the jersey was going to look like. It's not an exact one-to-one reversal. These older alternates that the Maple Leafs wore in the late 90s and again in the early 2000s and then again in the early 2010s, it has the Conn Smythe Maple Leaf logo on it. That's the design of this logo, and it was modernized for these older alternates. But the logo, or the Conn Smythe version of the Maple Leafs that's on these Reverse Retro 2.0 jerseys, are the same or more similar to the ones that they wore in the early 60s. Other than that, the body of the jersey is just completely reversed in the same way of these older alternates, with the shoulders being white, the main color of the jersey being blue, and the stripes being, of course, reversed to the white color. Another cool little feature of this jersey is that the logo is made out of a felt material, and I love that on specialty jerseys. It's a nice little touch as opposed to everything just being regular twill. And to match the logo, of course, the numbers and the letters on this jersey should also be made out of that same felt material. I don't often get an opportunity to nerd out or talk about hockey jerseys here on the channel, so when I do get the opportunity to, you're going to get the brunt of it. You usually only see the three jerseys that are hanging behind me. Maybe you could see a sliver of another one. I don't know. But they go all the way around the walls here in the basement, and I have basically almost every style of Maple Leaf jersey that they've worn going back to the 80s. At least. The ones that are older than that are very, very hard to come by, and I don't think I'll ever own those. But then again, I didn't think that I would own all of these to begin with. This isn't even all of them. I need to take pictures of some of the newer ones that I've gotten in the last couple of months. When I first saw that the jersey was going to have a felt customization, my heart kind of sank a little bit, because this Toronto Arenas jersey from last year's Heritage Classic was an absolute nightmare from the second that it was released. And that's because it has this specialty felt customization on the back of them that has these swirls or hoops on it. But these hoops, the thread that's used to create these hoops or swirls or whatever you want to call it, are different than the hoops or the swirls that were on the original Toronto Arenas jerseys that they wore during the 2017-2018 season, because the Maple Leafs switched customizers a couple of seasons ago. Sports Lettering Company in Toronto or Scarborough, basically like the 401 and McCowan area, they did all of the Maple Leafs game worn jerseys from the early 2010s until like the 2019-2020 season. And the place that does it now does not really work with the public. And this may sound stupid, but when you buy the $750 team issued jersey from the Toronto Maple Leafs direct, you want the shiny, glistening, shimmering, whatever special thread that they used on these felt numbers. You want the exact matching on ice customization. And because the individual or the shop that does them now doesn't work with the public, I now have a very expensive collectible that I cannot complete. And if you put it in those kind of terms, maybe people who collect other things can understand a bit of that pain. And the numbers that were used on the retail jerseys are not the same as the ones that they used on the game worn ones. I asked the Maple Leafs. I asked the person who sells all of the game worn equipment. I asked the shop that did them themselves. Nobody can or will tell me where they got these numbers or where they got this special thread from. But when I do find out, I know I'm going to send the jersey over to First Line Jerseys. Tom is a friend of mine. I've sent almost every single one of my jerseys to him to have customized. He's an absolute pro at what he does, and he really cares about the nitty-gritty details that goes into each individual hockey jersey, because as you can see, there's a lot of small details. And when you're spending hundreds of dollars or even several hundreds of dollars in some cases, all of those small little extra details matter. And I actually got the privilege of interviewing Tom, and his story is incredible on how he went from a sergeant in the Canadian Armed Forces of 13 years to starting his own business customizing hockey jerseys. He's an impressive guy and a really good friend of mine. So if you ever do need a hockey jersey customized, I highly, highly, highly recommend Tom at First Line Jerseys. I will leave his website linked in the description of this video. But yeah, that's gonna about do it for the video, guys. As always, let me know what your thoughts and opinions are down in the comment section below. What do you think about the new Toronto Maple Leafs Reverse Retro jersey? How do you think it compares to the Reverse Retro 1.0 jersey that they released a couple of years ago with the gray in it? Obviously, I own quite a few different ones. I don't know. What's your favorite Toronto Maple Leafs jersey of all time? Mine has to be the one that they wore in the 2014 Winter Classic against the Detroit Red Wings in the Big House. This is the perfect ultimate Toronto Maple Leafs jersey. They're not topping it. No way. You're wrong, even if I just asked for your opinion down below in the comment section. The one true answer is this one here. It's just too bad that the team wearing it wasn't a bit better. So as always, make sure to like the video if you did like it and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, I will see you in the next video. I'm sorry that I haven't gotten to do anything on the absolute catastrophe that was the previous game against the Arizona Coyotes. I've had COVID the last like week or so, and either when I go to sit down to record a video, I am coughing my brains out after every single take, or my nose is stuffed up and I sound like a fish, and it's not a good combination. But I am feeling better, obviously, as you can hear in my voice. Not just the tone of my voice or the quality of my voice, although I don't really like the way that it sounds usually, but in the peppiness of my voice. I am in much better spirits today than I have been for the last week or so. So expect more video content over the next little while as we are getting back into the swing of things, as I'm getting back into the swing of things. And there's a Leaf game going on right now against the Dallas Stars. I wonder how that's going. Hopefully better than the last game against the Coyotes. All right, guys, I'm going to get it here, and I'll see you in the next couple of days.